Jacob, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, we're speaking after a signing session you've just done with fans. First of all, how did you find that?
Yeah, no, it was great to see all the fans come out. Obviously, it's a big part. It's a big part of the club. Tight knit community here, and just to see how many fans come out, we really appreciate it.
What have you made of those fans? It feels like you've become one of their favourites quite quickly.
Yeah, no, they've been great. They've been really welcoming to me. Just seeing them today, how much it brings a smile to their face for me to come out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and in terms of your time at the club so far, it feels to me, from watching you at least, that there's been quite a significant improvement, even in sort of a couple of months. Is that something you've felt as well?
Yeah, 100%. I'm getting more and more confident and closer to where I think I know I can be.
Yeah.
Game by game, I'm improving. I'm learning a lot because when I come here, I'd not played a professional game before. So coming into it, and it takes time to adapt to a new place, new surroundings, and men's football. But yeah, no, I definitely think I'm improving game by game, and I think the fans can see that.
Is that mainly what you put it down to, sort of just getting used to the physicality and the different dimensions of men's football?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different factors going in. You're moving away from your family, you're moving into a new area, new teammates. You've got to understand them and how they like to receive the ball, and the way that we play. I know it might not be that different from City, but there's still a difference.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got the physicality and the speed of the league, and just playing against men, because that's not something that I was used to before this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about sort of what it's been like on a personal level, because I know your family are from the northwest. Obviously, you've been at City for all those years. So, has that been something that you've had to adapt to quite a lot now, sort of being away from them and by yourself?
Yeah, I think obviously I'd lived away from them,
Yeah.
but not hours away from them. They were just a phone call away, and but they've been great as well. They come down to every game, home and away. They travel as much as they can to come and see me. So yeah, it has took a bit of adapting, but all the staff, all the players, they've been great with me, so I really appreciated it.
Yeah, and with that sort of improvement in your game that we were talking about, I think a lot of people have noticed maybe the defensive side. I think you're probably making more tackles and winning more duels. Is that something you're keen to improve on in your position as well?
Yeah, I think it's a key part of the role that I like to play in. You've got to be able to break up the play and start attacks, and that's something that I've been working on in training. We've been doing some extra stuff, and even work in the gym as well, because it all helps. And I think I'm starting to improve. Because I read it quite well, but sometimes I've not been able to, take the body contact or whatever. But
Yeah.
we're developing that as we speak, and it's going to get a lot better. I think it has improved since I first came, but there's always room for more improvement.
Yeah, I don't know how aware of this you would have been, but for quite a few years before you arrived, the fans were desperate for a proper sort of defensive midfielder who can win those duels and sort of play from a little bit deeper. Is that a sort of mantle and a role that you really embrace, taking on something that maybe hasn't been solved for a few years?
Yeah, 100%. It's a role that I like to play, and it's a role that I've played for the majority of my youth career, and hopefully it's a hole that I can fill for Norwich.
Yeah. I think you've spoken about the fact that you'd like to stay at the club, and Johannes Torup has said that he'd like to keep you as well. So does it feel very much like you're pretty sure you're going to be here next season?
I mean, like I said, hopefully. I don't know where everything stands on it. I don't know where the club stand on it. If I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like I said, hopefully it will happen. But I'm not sure what the future holds.
But I suppose the fact that you do want to stay speaks volumes about sort of the project going on here and how the club is.
Yeah, no, the project that we got here, I know the results might not have been exactly what the fans would have wanted since I joined, but I think we're building something really good here, and the project in the long term, I think it could be something really good.
And obviously, you've worked under probably what a lot of people would consider as the best coach in the world. I mean, what do you make of Johannes? He might not be quite Pep Guardiola levels yet, but what do you make of him?
Yeah, no, he's been really good. I like his ideas a lot. We've spoken quite a bit, not just with Johannes, but with the other coaching staff as well, and the ideas that they have and the way that they want us to play, and I really like that idea. And he's also been very clear and honest with me, which I like as well. From the get-go, he told me what I needed to improve on and what we was going to work on, and that's exactly what we've done.
Do you feel like his style of play suits you pretty well?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm someone that wants to be on the ball as much as possible and try and dictate the game. And you know, we as a club also want to do that. You know, we want to dominate the ball. We want to make as many passes and clear opportunities as possible, and that's something that I like to do.
I think there were a lot of calls for you to start a few more games a bit earlier on in your time at the club, and you had to sort of bide your time a little bit. But was that the sort of thing where you just had to sort of stay patient and keep your head down rather than worrying about it?
Yeah, look, you know, there's always going to be outside noise. I don't necessarily listen to the majority. You know, you might see the odd thing that come up, but I like to keep myself to myself. But yeah, like you said, you know, you just got to be patient in them sort of things. Like I've not played any professional football before that. He has to, you know, bed me in easily, and he can't just chuck me in and then who knows what could happen. He's got to slowly get me used to the league, get me used to the speed of everything, and then when the time's right, he'll play me.
And obviously you've now had sort of a few games in the starting lineup. How have you felt about your own performances in those games?
Yeah, no, I think they've progressively got a lot more confident. I think you know, I think I've played quite well. Obviously some of the results haven't gone exactly how we would have wanted to, but you know, I'm happy with how I'm doing and how I'm progressing at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's, on a team level, probably a bit of an acceptance that now the playoffs may well be gone. So I suppose what's the motivation for you and your teammates now in these last 4 games?
Yeah, no, there's still a lot of motivation. I think, you know, there's 4 games left, and there's players there that are playing for a contract or playing for a move, or there's players that are playing to get in the team next year. So there's still a lot of motivation for us to, you know, play entertaining football, try and get as many wins as possible, and also like we want to make the fans happy and play entertaining football. You know, we're not just going to turn up and not give it our 100% just because we can't make the playoffs or whatever. Like we're gonna give it 100% till the end and hopefully win as many games as possible.
I suppose part of it is also trying to, you know, like you said, make those fans happy, but also sort of keep them on side for next season, so that if and when that progression does happen, you've got them with you.
Yeah, you know, like I said, the fans have been great. You know, they've been with us through thick and thin this year. You know, Plymouth away, the furthest away they can make, and we didn't exactly, you know, play to their desire. But you know, hopefully they can see what we're building here and stick with us. You know, not just through the rest of this season, but in the future as well.
Just a couple more from me. I wanted to ask you about sort of leaving Man City and maybe how tough that decision was, because I know maybe you weren't playing as much football as you would have liked, but a lot of people would say, you know, it's a comfortable place to be. You're training with world-class players, and you have a bit of a sort of guarantee behind your career. So was it tough to leave, or was it almost easy knowing that you were going to get a bit more senior football?
It definitely wasn't an easy decision. You know, you're at the best club in the world, in my opinion, training with the best players in the world. But I just felt that I was ready to go and play men's football, and this was the next step for me. So, you know, when the move come about, I felt that this was the right thing for me to hopefully progress my career.
Just finally, I wanted to ask about Kenny McLean, because obviously he's played that sort of deeper midfield role that you've been in for quite a few years at Norwich. Is he somebody who's sort of helping you along the way as a Norwich player?
Yeah, 100%. Kenny's been unbelievable with me. You know, he's helped me a lot. We speak quite a lot, not just on football, but also like outside of football as well. He's really helped me settle in. So yeah, no, Kenny's been great.
Yeah, do you think that's something where obviously you've got a lot of young players in the squad, where you can really benefit from some of those experienced lads who have obviously, you know, played hundreds of games at this level?
Yeah, no, experience is needed so much at this level. You know, not just in game, but you know, the everyday in training around the training ground. You know, the experience that they bring and the knowledge, it helps us young players so much.